Love is actually looking up in the month of November. We're going to be fed. We're going to have a lot of laughter. We're going to have the right people around us. Right. That's right. You heard it here. Today we're looking at the 5th house rulers and the 7th house rulers in transit. We could look at the 8th house rulers in transit too, but we're not doing that. And so you picky patties that come in my comments talking about, I don't want love, I just want money. I'm going to need you to listen here. This video may not be for you, so I'm going to need you to just keep it scrolling. This is serious and credits only. If you want love, connection, romance, relationships, this video is for you. If not, you just go on with your day. I will come for you in the comments. For Aries, both your 5th and 7th house rulers are transiting the 8th house. For love and romance, you need somebody who you're going to feel safe around, somebody who intuitively feels right for you. In relationships, partnerships, and interpersonal connection, you benefit from somebody who gives equal reciprocity, equal give and take. But for both themes, you need to prioritize your healing journey, going below the surface and examining the darker aspects of life, making peace with your past, letting go of what no longer serves you in your current self. Perhaps this could be past baggage, past hurt, the past in general. You also need to be weary about over-obsessing over relationships too. Perhaps you need to spend some time by yourself. I mean, granted, you're Aries, you tend to do things a lot on your own. Since both your 5th and your 7th house rulers sit in Scorpio, it's really important that we're not over-fixating over relationships or perhaps dating. You also have to be willing to let go of control. Towards the end of the month, you may have a relationship coming back or perhaps a past lover coming back as well with Mercury retrograde going back into Scorpio. Don't jump the gun and be impulsive with communication. You gotta listen to what's being said, gather all the evidence, and then make a prediction. But if they're not for you, just give them the chops so you don't flop. Truthfully, right now, you yearn for a deeper connection, somebody who understands you at that deep level, somebody that's intimate and vulnerable too. But people can only meet you to the level at which they met themselves. If they're not willing to face themselves like you face yourself, then give it the chops so you don't flop. Overall, the month of November for love is transformative for you. But who's really willing to be there when you're stepping in your power? For Taurus, your 5th house ruler is transiting the 8th house and your 7th house ruler is transiting the 8th house with a 10th house emphasis. Ooh, you and Aries are similar this month. Love is all about transformation, letting go of what no longer serves you in your current self to make room for what does serve you. But you gotta be willing to prioritize that healing journey, going below the surface to examine the darker aspects of life, making peace with your past. Essentially to release it too. But it is gonna manifest different than Aries since your 8th house is in Sagittarius. Now for starters, with your 5th house ruler retrograde in the 8th house, you need to reassess and reevaluate the way that you're showing up for your healing. You gotta have compassion for yourself. Also, you need to reevaluate and reassess how you're showing up in truth, authenticity, and accountability too. Don't be afraid to embrace both your light and shadow attributes right now. It's what leads to true authenticity. It's what leads to the right connections coming in. Now, later in the month after the 20th, Mercury will retrograde back into your 7th house. There is the potential for past relationships to come back. Give them a listen, but if it doesn't resonate, give them the snip so you can stay hip. If something does hit and it does resonate, I wouldn't rush back into a relationship. But, see it out. I also wouldn't rush into certain connections either during this time. Take the time to get to know somebody before getting deep. Now, with the 10th house emphasis, be sure that they got all their ducks in a row. Be sure that they're mature, established for themselves. But also for you, be sure that you're taking back control of your life and owning your own authority. That's what puts you in a position of power during this month. While you're at it, don't forget to embrace your unconventionality, what makes you weird, different, quirky. That also helps with empowerment too. Just as long as you don't over-obsess about it. But hey, during the month of November, you can attract somebody who's successful and powerful. How about that? Hopefully they're healed. But overall, just like Aries, the month of November, very transformative for you in terms of love, but it could be successful if you play your cards right. For Gemini, your 5th house ruler is transiting the 6th house and your 7th house ruler is transiting the 2nd. In terms of love and romance, you need somebody who's going to benefit your personal development journey, somebody who's willing to grow and expand with you. But you need to learn how to be of service to yourself, fill up your own cup, not filling up somebody else's cup to your detriment. Now, you may want to be service-oriented in connection or perhaps in romance, but the other person's going to need to be service-oriented too. Ain't nothing wrong with an act of service. You can act my service. Now, in terms of relationship, partnership, and interpersonal connection, you need equal reciprocity. Now, this can come through a bit of transformation here, so do be sure to prioritize your healing journey. Since your 7th house ruler is retrograde, it is time to reassess and reevaluate your very worth and value. We already know you're worthy and deserving, but if you're giving, how much are you giving? And how much is too much? Also watch the spending during this transit. How much spending is too much spending? Ooh, I know this ain't a money read, but still. The energy that you do give out to other people, be sure that you're giving that back to yourself. That's what's going to increase your worth and value. And that's what may call in the right relationships for you during this time. But you're going to have to listen to your intuition and feel your way through who's right for you and who's not right for you. Overall, the month of November for love, it's all about development and equal reciprocity. You better get back what you give out. Otherwise, what are we doing? For Cancer, your 5th house ruler is transiting the 6th house with an 8th house emphasis, and your 7th house ruler is transiting the 9th. Similar to Gemini, you need somebody who's going to align with your personal development journey, somebody who's going to grow with you as well. But you got to be sure that you're being of service to yourself. But also, because your fifth house ruler is conjunct Mercury retrograde, now is a great time to reassess and reevaluate ways that you are showing up for yourself and being of service to yourself too. This can improve your personal development journey. Now, with the eighth house emphasis, be sure to let go of anything that no longer serves you in your current self that leads to empowerment. But also be sure to prioritize your healing journey too. Now, in terms of relationships, partnerships, and interpersonal connection, you need somebody who's going to align with the very life that you're trying to create for yourself. In specifics, the reality of what you're creating for yourself too. Because look, with Saturn ruling over your seventh house and that being in the ninth, you know you're being shown the reality of what it is you're manifesting. Since it's conjunct Neptune, now is not the time to connect with potential. This will just delay everything that you put in the work for. You gotta look at the reality of what's being shown to you. They can say all the right things, but if their actions are not aligning, give them a snip snip. Now, because North Node is also in Pisces, fated events can definitely bring in a relationship during this time. Plus, your seventh house ruler is trine Jupiter. I will say spend time by yourself to better understand your unconscious qualities, because if not careful, you may attract a karmic relationship that may show up as the relationship that you're looking for, and they just may mirror back those unconscious qualities back to you. Also, set up energetic boundaries. That way you don't take on energy that's not yours, and that way you could discern which energy is for you and which energy is not for you. Overall, November's a lucky time for you in terms of love. It can help your personal development journey if you play your cards right. Oop, and look at that, 555's on my clock. Come on, change. Hold on. Change is coming. For all the signs, be sure to pay attention to any personal placements as well as aspects being made. Other signs are in the other videos.